Today on the AMSOIL Championship Snowcross Series, the racing and points battle take a hard turn at the HK Powersports New England Nationals. Will Ross Martin continue to lead the charge? What about the International Challenge from Super Swede Emil Lohmann or Canadian phenom Tim Tremblay? What's the real breakfast of champions? We'll dig into a pre-game meal for snowcross racers. Host Misha Johnson checks out the race day menu at the track. Big air? Like jumping a lounge chair? The Monster Energy Slednex Invasion Tour is ready to take off as Paul Thacker and the crew suspend the rules of physics. What's it like to wrench a big-time sled? We'll take you to pit row for an inside look. From stock sleds right off the dealer's floor to the open mod sleds where anything goes, get ready for the best snowcross racing in the world as the green flag flies on the AMSOIL Championship Snowcross Series.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the AMSOIL Championship Snowcross Series. I'm your host, Misha Johnson, and we are here at HK Powersports New England Nationals in beautiful Salem, New Hampshire. Now, it's about this time in the season when we really start to ponder the storylines, such as the points battle in the Pro Open class. So, let's hear it from our riders who are all battling to be number one and who have the on-track insights.
The points battle is super important because it's good for our sponsors, it's good for the team, it makes everyone want to do this again next year. I've kind of been up and down this season, but I've been trying to get the National Guard Pure Tech Polaris on top as much as possible. And I got to thank all the guys back in the trailer. They've been working hard, they're wrenching here right now on it, so thanks to everybody back in the trailer.
You start following the points thing. You go into the race and you're like looking, oh, I gotta do well here. And I did that last year at Hayward. I was leading at a good margin, and I'm looking at the points and just say, hey, take it easy. I end up having a mechanical failure and wiped out my whole points lead. And I said, you know what? Screw that. I'm just gonna go back to having fun, not worrying about it, and doing my thing. I went through a little spell there. I was like, kind of bumming about my foot, but I just realized just a minute ago with all them fans, I'm like, this is pretty dang cool.
The track is brutal. I mean, the holes, when you get that slushy snow, they really just get deep fast, and you just G out so hard in them, and it's great racing. It makes good passing, and it really makes your technique crucial to just have perfect timing.
All right, thanks you guys, and good luck out there. Well, that's what our riders think, but right now it's time to get to our announcers in the broadcast booth. Guys, what's going on up there?
Thanks, MJ. Well, Paul, what a facility, all part here of the HK Powersports New England Nationals, Rockingham Park. Let's take a look at this racetrack.
Right now we got a real short start. See that start coming out of there? We're going to a little sweeper, heading right into our AMSOIL finish line.
Well, you see the helmet cam that Logan Christian's wearing. It's interesting because right after that finish line, they go into a very technical rhythm section.
And it's all real snow. It's not man-made, meaning there's no give there. It's just like hitting concrete.
Well, we come out of 1 through 2, and then, of course, into the back part of the racetrack, that known as the U.S. Air Force flyaway. And they got some great rhythm sections here.
Really do. There's 4 big doubles before we come into turn 3 here, square up and get down into 4.
Well, once it's coming out of 4, it's a quick burst of power and speed as they hit the AMSOIL finish line, and that's a lap around the racetrack here at Rockingham Park. We go into AMSOIL Pro Open qualifying. This is Heat 2 of Round 2, Paul. Some pretty big names in here. Johnstead, Simons, Oman, Kaufman. It'll be fun to watch them as they get lined up and go green.
As earlier races were showing, it's a little tricky track here. We've got some man-made snow. We've got real snow from Mother Nature. Let's see what it has in store.
Pache lining up in the back. We've seen a couple of drivers do this, trying to get an inside line, maybe a little bit better shot. Let's see if it works for him. Doug Morrissey ready to go green. They are green, and oh, look at that. Matt Marin gets a tough block. And who falls behind? Matt Pache.
Boy, that was a bad break for Pache. He thought if he hangs back, sits back, he can dive to the inside. There's nowhere to go when Marin took that line away.
Well, out front, it is the AMSOIL Air Force Polaris of Johnstead with a nice lead right now. Chasing him, Ryan Simons in that battle. Also, Emil Oman, one of the Warnet racers on the XPS Skidoo.
Boy, now look at him landing. Check out here at Hollywood Johnstead here. Look at how flat the machine is. What a great suspension setup. Now, I was hearing rumors out of the trailer they've done some shock work. It looks like it's paying dividends now.
Well, of course, his first year of racing with Steve Schering Speed Sports, a good run going as he is out front. Andrew Johnstead, Oman right behind him, but it's Andrew Johnstead out in front, and here comes Emil.
Boy, and look at Emil. One thing you don't want to do is leave the inside open. He just got it closed.
Look at that. Johnstead keeps looking over his shoulder, and Oman briefly takes the lead. Here comes Johnstead charging.
Boy, look at how fast he's coming. Look how flat it is when he's landing. The balance of that snowmobile, it's about as close to perfect as perfect gets.
Well, they have the back part of the racetrack, and you can see him right here as Oman tries to get around Johnstead, but can't hold on to the lead. There he is. Andrew looks over his shoulder once, looks again. Emil ducks underneath, then he looks over his right shoulder, says, all right, you go high, I'm going to tuck down low, I'm going back out front.
Boy, that was a great comeback there on Johnstead's part. He gave up the line for a split second, had momentum coming back off turn 3 there and just drilled him.
Andrew Johnstead, some great lines on the AMSOIL Air Force Polaris. He is still out in front 6 laps into this qualifier.
You know, they can't catch him. I mean, they're not reeling him in at all. As I said, the setup, watch him come down here on the Air Force Flyaway. Look at it, flat. Double comes over, just perfect.
That's why they call it the flyaway. You see those sleds through that rhythm section doubling and tripling up as they work around another lap. It is Andrew Johnstead out front. Emil Oman right behind him, still charging on the XPS Warnert Skidoo as they continue to count down laps. But Johnstead doing a great job.
You know, Oman isn't even close to reeling him in. He'll get close in the corners. When we get back out on the rhythm section here, you can see that Schering's got a better setup in that hot rod that Johnstead's riding.
No doubt. You can see Andrew has a great balance on that sled here in this qualifier in the AMSOIL Pro Open qualifying. Works through the U.S. Air Force Flyaway. Here comes Oman again. Let's see if he's got anything for him.
You know, he's up too high there. You get up in that sugary, marbly snow, you just can't grab the brake because you lose all your momentum. You can't drive back off the corner.
And you see the white flag out. You talked about this. It's part natural snow, part man-made snow. A little bit tricky here and there to get a setup, but still Johnstead is your leader, but Oman knocking on the door.
He's been knocking on that door the whole race, so I don't know if he's got enough to get by him. Johnstead is just too solid so far.
Let's watch as they come around. This is the last lap. Johnstead comes into the corner. Look at Oman. Going to try sneak underneath, work his way back up. A little bit of contact. But you know what? I think he scrubbed off the speed, and Johnstead's going to take the win.
Let's take another look at that. That's exactly what I think happened. When they came back in the corner, now look at Emil on the inside here. He'll grab the brake, see him pitch it sideways, scrub his speed off, scrubs off too much speed, and he can't accelerate to make the pass stick.
Well, the first-year driver again for Steve Schering Speed Sports on that AMSOIL U.S. Air Force Polaris. A nice run for Andrew Johnstead as he takes the win in Round 2, Heat 2 Pro Open qualifying. Let's check in with Misha Johnson, who's standing by with Emil Oman.
So let's talk about first your lengthy credits that you have from the Scandinavian country snowmobiling over there. What kind of achievements have you made?
2 years ago I was the world champion there, and for 2 years in a row I've been the Swedish champion, and I won a bunch of other races there. So I felt that my time to get over here was in, so I wanted to try something new, and so now I'm here. You know, I'm not here to be like one of the top 10s. I want to be the guy up front, so I'm gonna go for that.
Ooh, I like that. Those are fighting words.
When we return, we'll have the latest news as the battle to be number 1 gets the riders' emotions fired up. In any language, this means get out of the way. Find out why Tim Tremblay is upset. What's on the race day menu? Looks like plenty of comfort food. From good eating to good racing, we'll count the calories and open up the crock pots on pit row. But first, ever wonder if your favorite snowcross racers have any race day superstitions?
First up, I always have I have my lucky shirt, which is literally been washed so many times that it's like kind of tearing and shredding apart. So all that I have left is the collar. I have a lucky coin in my pocket. I have a lucky tether. I clap 5 times, swing my arms, stretch both my legs. Gosh, what else do I do? I have to put my right boot on first, left knee brace. It's just endless. Each year I add another thing and I go, why? Why do I have all these ridiculous superstitions? But if I don't do it, I feel something feels wrong, so I just keep doing it.
always put on my left knee brace first, and I don't know. Other than that, just shut my eyes and hold it wide open.
I'm not super superstitious. I don't have the same pair of underwear I wear every weekend or anything, but I would say my superstition or pre-race ritual, I guess, would be just always fresh gear. I change my gear like every single time I go in and out of the trailer. I like to have fresh and dry gear, and that's one of my pre-race rituals, and the other ones are top secret. I can't tell you, or you'd know my advantage.
The AMSOIL Championship Snowcross Series is brought to you by AMSOIL, Parts Unlimited, Skidoo, and by Caterpillar.